I'll be, I guess, acting clerk tonight.
Yeah, Mary Ellen.
Okay.
Maybe it's like an automatic, I think it does that.
Okay, we're going to get started. Good evening. Welcome to the March 12th Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting. Tonight, to my left, we have Mr. Carter Falk, who's the Deputy Plan Manager for the City of Nashua. Across the way, we have Mr. Jamin Kara, Mr. Steve Lionel, who is our Vice Chair, Mr. Jack Currier, who is acting as the Secretary tonight, Mr. Staffia Boris, and I'm J.P. Boucher, your Vice Chair tonight. This meeting is recorded
You're the
by...
real chair.
Excuse me?
You're the real chair.
Yeah.
You're not the vice chair anymore.
Oh, sorry, I'm the chair. I apologize. This meeting tonight is recorded by written transcript and is also video recorded. We ask that you direct all the testimony into the microphone, and only one person speak at a time. Tonight, unless it's somebody else that shows up, there's only one person in the audience tonight that appears to be going to testify tonight. Tonight's agenda is on the back table if you want that, but you're the only one on the agenda.
The only one on.
So, yeah. Tonight, we're just going to hear one case, and that is a use variance. So I'll just quickly go over what a use variance is. A variance is a request that seeks permission to do something that the ordinance does not permit. The 5 criteria that need to be established for the approval of a variance are: 1, the variance will not be contrary to public interest; 2, the spirit of the ordinance is observed; 3, substantial justice is done; 4, the values of the surrounding properties are not diminished; and 5, literal enforcement of the provisions of the ordinance would result in unnecessary hardship. Per the City of Nashua bylaws, a minimum of 3 or more affirmative votes are required to approve any application. Also, this board will hear all scheduled cases as long as a quorum of 3 voting members are present at this meeting. We have a full quorum tonight of 5 members. Any citizen has the right to contest a decision that this board makes. Should we make a decision that you believe is an error, you have the right to request a rehearing. A written rehearing request must be received through Mr. Falk in the City National Planning Department within 30 calendar days from the day after a decision was made. Should this board not grant a rehearing request, you can file an appeal directly to the New Hampshire Superior Court, and you can contact Mr. Falk tonight for more information. Per our approved zoning board of adjustment bylaws, the review and decision of each application occurs in 2 parts. The first part is the public hearing. I will forego the process of the public hearing on the testimony because, again, there's only one person in the audience. There's nobody else here, so this person will testify. There is nobody here else that would most likely be testifying in either for or against the case. If somebody else does come in, I will go over those testimony rules on how we take testimony. But at this point, there's only one person here for the only one case we have on the agenda. We ask that you direct all testimony to the board. And again, if you have any questions or anything, we'll get those answered for you. The second part of tonight's meeting is called the public meeting. This is where we debate the merits of the case amongst ourselves. During this meeting, there is no testimony allowed from the audience. We just ask that you silence your cell phone during this meeting. Is there any changes to the agenda tonight?
No, just one case.
Okay. Do you have any questions, ma'am, before we get started? Okay. With that, I will call the first case and the only case on the agenda. That is for owner Denise Barry, 505 West Hollis Street, unit number 206. The description is Denise Barry, owner of 505 West Hollis Street, unit 206, Sheet E, lot 1387, requesting a use variance from Land Use Code Section 190-15, Table 15-1, number 110, to allow a real estate office in a multi-tenant building. It's in the PI district. Would you come on up, Ms. Barry? Give us your name and address, and tell us.
My name is Cindy Bolton Berry. I live at 51 Legacy Drive in Nashua.
You can just tell us, we see it, your applications is here, we've read it all. If you just kind of want to tell us what you're, kind of what you want to do and what's going on.
I'm a small business. I've been a small business here for 23 years on Annham Street. And I'm actually downsizing my business. There'll be myself, another broker who has 20-plus years of experience, and my daughter as well, who's 15 years old, is helping in the business. And basically, I'm selling my office in Nashua, and I'm downsizing to a condo to accommodate, it's just a small business, and it won't really impact any of the parking, because today's time, most people need people at the property, and I don't see any kind of impact in the business area there. And currently, there are other businesses there, that's why I didn't think anything of it, not just doctors, but there are other businesses there.
Okay. Any question for Ms. Barry?
I was just curious, I know that there's an ophthalmologist. What other businesses are there? I haven't been there lately.
There's an insurance business, there's a tutoring business, there's a nurse practitioner business, there's another type of, some other type of business, sales business, and then there are like eye doctors and other professional people.
All right, thank you.
The particular suite that she bought previously was occupied by my wife's periodontist, so I know it.
Mr. Minkara?
Could I just ask, what attracted you to this particular location?
Well, this is recorded for the whole city, right? My daughter is in high school, and she has, I was trying to make it easier for her. So basically, I'm gonna be going, this is my personal side, I'm gonna be going to work, and she can go to high school and then walk back, so I don't have to go and pick her back. But also, I'm downsizing my business, and I know people in that building, and it's a nice building, and it's easy access, and I felt it was the right place to be.
Thank you.
Just to follow up, Mr. Carter just handed me a list of the different businesses there, and there is a lot of, like allergy, immunology, a lot of dentists, but there's also Kumon Learning, Unique Sales, Computer Training, Allstate Insurance was the big insurance company that's there, Massage Bliss, I don't know if that's really considered medical or anything. So there is, there's another one is Counseling Services, and then TPS Realty, is that you?
No.
Okay, so there's another TSP Realty is another tenant there, another owner of a condo there. So this is kind of, so just kind of a flavor of what what's there. And then the rest of it is basically eye doctors and dental dentists and orthodontists. Any other questions for Ms. Barry? All right, Ms. Barry, do you have any questions for us, or are you all set?
I'm all set.
Okay,
I'm ready.
okay,
Move forward, whatever I have to do.
all right. Thank you for coming. Anybody else in the audience would like to speak in favor of the application? No?
Take that as a no?
Okay, that's a no. There is nobody else in the audience, so I will close the public hearing and open the public meeting. Mr. Correa.
I think the applicant's, her addressing of the use variance is adequate. I think the test is met. I appreciate hearing those other businesses there because, as you drive by, it's a busy sign, and I didn't really have a flavor of what's there. But especially seeing there's another realty business there, I don't think what she's proposing is out of line or out of character with what's there now. So for me, it meets the criteria, and it's all good. It's my opinion.
Mr. Lino.
I don't have anything to add to it, what Mr. Courier said. I approve of this.
Mr. McCarroll?
And I would just say, I concur. I was actually surprised. I had just always assumed this was a general professional office building, so I was surprised to find a variance was needed. But, and I would just also add that, I agree. I think they met the criteria, but I just also note the history of variances that have been granted on the property in the past.
Thank you. Ms. Boris?
I also agree with the applicant's proposal.
I'm also in favor, and as you know, most of us have had the opportunity to buy real estate. I remember years ago, I used to go in and look through books, and the offices were really busy, right? Now, everything's online, and like Mrs. Barry stated, it's very little traffic at the office, you know, so I think there's probably be negligible that, you know, of the impact, so I'm in full agreement. Would anybody like to make a motion?
I'll do it.
Mr. Lionel?
Okay. I'd like to make a motion on behalf of the owner Denise Berry, address 505 West Hollis Street, Unit 206, requesting use variance from Land Use Code, Section 19015, Table 15-1, item number 110, to allow a real estate office in a multi-tenant building. The board finds that the variance is needed to enable the applicant's proposed use of the property. We know that this property has had, already has tenants, multiple uses, including another real estate office and other businesses, and has had multiple variances granted in the past. And there's no other alternative to a use variance to enable her use of the property. We believe that's within the spirit and intent of the ordinance as the history provides. We don't believe it will adversely affect the property values of surrounding parcels. The board finds it's not contrary to the public interest and that substantial justice would be served. So I make a motion to approve this use variance.
Seconded by Ms. Morris. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is 5-0. Congratulations, man. The motion passes. As always, there's a 30-day window of appeal, but highly unlikely, and as there's nobody here, and I don't think anybody, there was no communication otherwise. So thank you for coming. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. With that, I'll close case number 1. You have some, Mr. Curry, you want me to wait a minute? or-
No, I'm caught up. I'm good.
Okay. So, there's some meeting minutes from February 26th. Anybody see any issues or anything that they'd like to bring up?
I didn't see any corrections needed
I did
myself.
not either.
Nope, they look good.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the February 26, 2019 minutes, seconded by Mr. Mancara. All in favor? So that's 5-0. All right, and that brings us to regional impacts. So the next schedule here is, we have 7 cases. Does anybody see any regional impacts?
I did not.
I do not.
Okay, so no regional impact.
Right, so I'm just saying by voice or nod, unanimous, that there's no
Regional impact.
regional impact.
Any other business?
The agenda, I guess I had a question on the agenda.
Oh, go ahead.
It seems like there's a bunch of Pennachuck water requests all in different areas. I guess they're just doing a general upgrade, so they have this salvo of,
They are doing some water main, installation of some water mains. And actually, I believe the engineer is gonna make one presentation, because it's really all the same thing. He was just gonna make one presentation for all of them, and you guys, I believe, can just do individual votes, instead of going through the whole thing 3 times in a row, because you hear the same thing 3 times in a row, so.
right.
They thought, and our staff thought, that that's probably the best way to do it. Just make one, because they went to the Conservation Commission and got approval, and it's basically it's one case. So, but we thought, since there's 3 different locations, 3 different sets of abutters, different zoning districts, the requests are a little bit different. as far as what they've asked for, we thought it'd be best to break it out into 3 individual cases for the zoning board. So, and they were fine with all that, so.
Thanks for that question, answering the question.
Any other questions or discussion? Mr. Correa?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion to adjourn, seconded by Mr. Lionel. All in favor? 5. We're adjourned at 6:40.